Igbo Area TV on the Igbo.
Our next topic will be Joe Igbokwe and crying more than the bereaved. Of course, you know, the NSAS protest was started as a result of police brutality in Nigeria. The government of Buhari announced that the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, has been dissolved and to be replaced with SWAT immediately. That was during the protest. The protesters then forwarded new demands, including asking President Buhari to relinquish his position. About the same time, protesters were attacked at the Lekki toll gate, allegedly by soldiers. Then the protest took a new dimension. Properties belonging to the government and some top government officials who were said to be complicit in the Lekki shooting were vandalized. At that point too, hoodlums infiltrated the protest, hijacked it, and there was massive looting of properties, including that of private individuals. Police stations were not spared in the violence which erupted and is mainly noticed in southern part of Nigeria. Meanwhile, other parts of Nigeria had a share of the destruction. Aftermath of the NSAS protests, the government started harassing the leaders of the campaign. Lots of bank accounts were frozen and more are still being targeted in a now court-backed government move. A move from a government that hates protest but will always do what will make its citizens protest. We already know the level of destruction as a result of the NSAS protest, which we also saw government-led thugs dropped at several parts of the country to take part in the protest. We feel so sad about the carnage. We feel so sad about the destruction, but we feel more sad about the innocent protesters that were shot, that were killed. We feel bad about all who died in the process, including our fellow civilians who are policemen. We feel bad about all who have died as a result of police brutality, which caused the protests. We wish the police had been well paid and catered for. We wish the Nigerian police force were better trained than what we see. We wish the police in Nigeria is a very much disciplined force. But someone should help us ask Joe Igbokwe why his tears were only dropped for the destroyed properties in the western part of Nigeria, while other parts of the south, including his Nnewi village, were affected as well. Joe Igbokwe should tell us why his tears won't drop off because of those killed during the NSAS protest. Why he wouldn't shed tears for that. Joe Igbokwe should tell us what is worth more than human life. Joe Igbokwe should tell us why he must cry for the vandalized properties more than the owners of the properties. Joe Igbokwe should help proffer solutions to avert another revolution in the right way, rather than just pointing at the damages. You know what happened? I scrolled past Joe Igbokwe's Facebook wall, and I realized, oh, those destroyed properties. It seems he is the owner of those properties, and he will not stop crying over those properties. Meanwhile, the life of humans worth more than the properties. A lot of people were killed during the protests Joe Igbokwe will not cry, will not shed tears for these people. But look at what he posted on his wall. He will never forget this. He will never forget the properties vandalized. What about people whose life were snuffed out of them because of this same protest? People who were out to protest for a better life. They were not part of the hoodlums. Yes, we had the hoodlums hijacked the protest, but these guys were peacefully protesting and the security operatives opened fire on them. What about these people? In conclusion, I am in no way approving of the destruction of properties which happened during the protests. But I believe in solution to solving the problems rather than shed crocodile tears, crying over spilled milk. And this spilled milk is not even yours. Please, viewers, would like to know what you think about this. Now that the government is also intimidating, harassing all who major people they know who were part of the protest. We had court has given order for accounts to be frozen. A lot of accounts have been frozen already. Like we said in our earlier video, they track your narration, the narration of the money that was transferred. Following the narration, they freeze your account. So a lot of accounts have been frozen, and more are still. Now that the court has backed CBN to do that, CBN has given banks directive to freeze accounts. I believe the government. Okay, some people who took part too were having problems with traveling out. The government will still introduce other measures to deal with NSAS protesters, rather than find solution. As it's amazing that government will descend to intimidating protesters. If you don't want protests, then do things that will not call for protests. Just like I said, part of the government resolve is to also shut down social media at will. That is part of their plans. They felt it's social media that is causing the problem. Meanwhile, social media has not caused any problem. Well, yes, we believe there are misinformations in social media, but then that is not the root of the problem. The problem is as a result of government failing to do what it's supposed to do. Government going against the norms. There are many things to be discussed beyond social media. Social media is not the problem. The government should do the right things. The government to check the appointments. The government to check the allocations. For example, we are still going to talk about that. Zamfara has gold. Zamfara's gold is managed by the state, but the Niger Delta oil is managed by the federal government of Nigeria, and the Niger Delta does not have any say apart from the allocation. Even the allocation, they are complaining that they are being shortchanged. Meanwhile, that is not what we want to discuss now. We'll discuss that in our later video, where Governor Okowa did a press release on that. So it's so sad that government will, rather than solve the problem, they will go to intimidate protesters, intimidate people. So viewers, please tell us what you think about this. It's really sad. What we are seeing, is sad, and give us solutions on how to go about this. Tell us what the government would have done to make things better, rather than harassment of protesters. Add your contribution on the comment section of this YouTube. Please also share this video, subscribe to our channel, and click on the bell icon to get our updates anytime it drops. I am Azuka OJ. Bye for now.